It's time for Tech News, where we report on the technology that will eventually replace us and report on itself. Microsoft is accelerating development of its own AI chip to avoid reliance on Nvidia's products. The chips have been in the works since at least 2019, are built on TSMC's 5nm process, and are known internally as Project Athena, because perhaps nothing says God of wisdom and war like modern AI. Select employees at Microsoft and OpenAI already have access to the new chips for testing with large language models, or LLMs, and we might see a full launch as early as next year. It's uncertain yet whether they will truly rival Nvidia's own high-level AI chips, but they don't really have to. Considering that LLMs take tens of thousands of GPUs and Nvidia H100s are selling for over $40,000 on eBay, Microsoft stands to save bundles by simply using its own in-house chips. It could make even more by offering those chips to its Azure customers, though it's not clear whether the company will sell access to them. The total number of high-level GPUs Nvidia can pump out is a major bottleneck to AI development, so just imagine how much faster Microsoft will be able to stitch Bing Chat's brain back together the next time Sydney goes off the deep end. The New York Police Department has announced a series of high-tech additions to their arsenal, including at least 2 R2-D2-looking security droids, if R2-D2 was for sitting on, a gun that shoots tracking devices, and 2 police DigiDogs. Some of you might recognize these as Boston Dynamics' Spot model, which does resemble a dog in the sense that it has 4 legs and a massive camera sticking out of its ass.
Here, boy.
Right there, officer. That's where I was cameraed. That's how you get the dog snooze. You put the camera right in the dog's ass. The dog robots were actually first contracted by the NYPD 2 years ago, before the contract was canceled because critics found it creepy and dystopian. What? Crazy. Now, they've acquired 2 for $75,000 each using asset forfeiture funds, which is money and property taken from people who may or may not have committed a crime. So don't worry, it's not tax dollars. The police stole it fair and square. As for the security droids, they're essentially just mobile cameras that cruise around at a brisk walking pace like space-age trash cans. They will initially be chaperoned by a human police officer, presumably to prevent them from getting jumped in an alleyway and forcibly decommissioned by a bat with a nail through it.
New York style, baby.
Or to just pick them up if they fall over. They look very bottom heavy. Just push me. You heard of cow tipping. Try robot tipping. And Reddit has announced that it will be charging businesses that use its API, meaning that AI developers will no longer be allowed to use Reddit as a free well of training data. Instead, they'll have to pay for access to the world's premier slurry of product reviews, memes, and unhinged bigotry. The exact price AI devs will have to pay is currently unknown, but according to the announcement, the changes are primarily directed at third parties who require additional capabilities, higher usage limits, and broader usage rights, and will take effect following a 60-day notice period. The motive for the changes was unstated, but Reddit is planning to go public later this year, and the possibility of garnering future profits from companies seeking to train their large language models could change Reddit's valuation immensely. CEO Steve Huffman described the company's authentic conversations as particularly valuable to LLMs, saying, "There's a lot of stuff on the site that you'd only ever say in therapy, or AA, or never at all." Yeah, there's also a lot of stuff on that site that no one should ever say to anyone. Ever.
Very authentic, though.
Authentically racist.
So authentic.
Nothing hits like a hard R on Reddit. Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by Guardio. Hacks can happen. Trust us. We know. Guardio is a browser extension that helps protect you while you browse online. It's super common to save lots of your sensitive data in your browser. It would be nice if things like 2-factor authentication were enough, but with more and more ways to bypass these safeguards, Guardio is both preventive and responsive in the ways it combats scammers. Whether that's letting you know a site may not be what it seems, or informing you that your information is at risk so you can act right away. After installing Guardio, it takes 30 seconds to perform a scan and see how secure your browsing is. And one Guardio account covers 5 family members at no extra cost. So for a secure browsing experience, get started at guard.io/techlinked for a 7-day trial plus 20% off a monthly subscription. Give me your ears, and in return, I will pay you 5 quick bits, the going market price for ears. Valve and Codeweavers have released a major update to Proton, the compatibility layer that allows Windows games to run on the Steam Deck's Linux OS. The 8.0 update comes with a lot of minor patches and improvements, but also allows Linux users to play hotly awaited games like Forspoken. Well, The Dead Space remake, that's pretty good. And of course, Chex Quest HD.
Woo!
We did it, boys.
Yeah.
We did it. Arch is complete. Finally, the true 90s gaming experience. Playing a serial-themed Doom clone you get free in a box of Chex because your mom thought the 2D blood in the original was too violent.
Mom!
Shut up, you little brat. Don't make mom come down there. I've been working hard. While Google is trying to convince us that we don't need ChatGPT because we already have AI at home, employees who tested Bard are giving it glowing criticisms. One tester called the AI cringeworthy, and another called it a pathological liar. In response to these criticisms, Bard told me privately, "Milady, as a 32-year-old mother of 3, I'm doing my best. Tips Fedora." He wrote out Tips Fedora, obviously. And also, none of that happened. I made it up. Bungie has decided to expand the anti-cheating policies in Destiny 2, specifically to curb the use of things like programmable controllers and keyboard adapters that allow complex macros and aim assist. Activision has done basically the same thing, but Bungie has recognized the need to balance restricting cheating and maintaining accessibility through adaptive controllers. While I don't use an adaptive controller, since I'm only disabled on the inside, I applaud the effort to find a solution for all gamers. The US's National Reconnaissance Office plans to launch a sensor satellite prototype into space within the next year that will be able to track moving targets back down on Earth. The NRO's director says the sensor will provide day-night, all-weather detection and tracking of ground and maritime targets. But what if I stand still, US government? Bet you didn't think of that now, did ya?
Their vision's based on movement.
If I stand completely still, you'll never know I'm here. And after 25 years, Netflix will be ending its DVD mail service, leading to the obvious question, wait, Netflix was still sending DVDs in the mail? Yes, it was. Apparently, Netflix's DVD division remained popular with diehard fans even as its streaming service metastasized and took over because it offered a range of obscure titles that simply weren't available online.
Like a Serbian film.
If you're not getting as close to snuff as you possibly can while remaining legal, is it even cinema?
It's art.
It belongs in a museum. But continuing a quality product with a dedicated fan base isn't exactly Netflix's MO, so naturally it had to die. But tech news never dies, so come back on Friday. I mean, you wouldn't want to disappoint me, right? Unless you hate me. No, it's fine. I understand. You don't appreciate me. It's fine. And I brought you your ladder.